To the dramatic scene in the Oval Office today, the tense confrontation, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
Up next, another Oval Office meltdown, President Trump ambushing the president of South Africa.
President Trump is being accused of conducting something of a diplomatic ambush of South Africa's president in the Oval Office.
To be with you, I'm Katie Tur. President Trump orchestrated another Oval Office ambush today.
Today, Donald Trump meeting with the president of South Africa and attempting to ambush and humiliate that leader.
Zelensky territory, where essentially he was a bit ambushed inside the Oval Office.
Felt like an ambush in there, kind of like the President Zelensky meeting in the Oval Office.
This was an ambush. It was orchestrated.
Cyril Ramaphosa brought his best diplomatic self to this meeting, but nothing could have prepared him for this multimedia ambush.
What started as, to some degree, an ambush.
Well, Katie, I mean, it was an ambush.
Ambushed.
An ambush.
Ambushing.
Ambushed inside the Oval Office.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and you're watching the Red Cup Podcast, where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Mika, and we're back for another Red Cup Talks, because this is where truth, pop culture, and politics meet. What's going on today? It is Thursday. It is raining here in Washington, D.C. It's cold, and it's just been a not so sunny week. What's going on with you guys in the chat? What's going on, Molly? What's going on, King? What's going on, Scoop? What's going on? Now, where is your car? Because your car will get on me. Okay, so where is your car? We'll have talks. What's going on, Loud? What's going on, Sugar Shane? What's going on, TJ? Oh, Tijuana border jumper. I know that's right. What's going on, you guys? Oh, Lord, the chat, y'all are wild. All right. Just making sure I don't miss anybody. What's going on? All right. So here we go. All right, you guys. So I want to get into a couple of things today. As you saw by the opening, I want to get into, yes, the South African, I don't know what you want to call it. Okay. They're calling it an ambush, and I'm just calling it trying to get the facts. All right. Now, the president of the United States, we all know he's, best friends, I don't know, pals, bros, whatever, with Elon Musk. So there is a personal interest there. All right. So we'll get into that later, but that is the purpose of the show and the purpose of the opening, because yesterday, I'm telling you, I was just so inundated with all of that. I was just like, yeah, I got to talk about this tomorrow on the live, because it was so much. And I wanted to look up a lot of stuff on South Africa, because I'm not very versed in everything South Africa. Okay. I know a lot about the Zulu history and like things further back, but I was not as versed on what happened from apartheid, before apartheid, around that time period. So I just wanted to learn a little more, and I wanted to learn really what the truth was, or what seemingly the truth around the farmers. Okay. So I kind of went through all that yesterday, and so I did a little digging with that. Now, a lot of it I can't show on YouTube. Okay, they'll snatch this channel. But the things that I can show, we'll get into. So you guys, I'm going to try to pack all of this into an hour, but we might go a little over. But I'm going to try to get in that hour. All right, just make sure. Let me look up here, see if I missed anybody else that might have came in while I was running my mouth. Okay, there go your car. You're late. What's up, your car? All right. What's up, Andrea? Hi, Miss Freckles. My girl Molly. Hi, Warren. All right. All right, you guys. So let's get started. So I want to go ahead and get into just a couple of short stories here. We call them shots over here. Just a couple of short stories that piqued my interest that I thought you guys may be interested in. But this first story is wild. Okay. When I tell you this is wild because they tell you all of this stuff that the illegals can't get documentations, they can't get social security numbers, they can't do all of this stuff, but yet they pay taxes. They can't do all of this stuff, they can't get birth certificates, but yet they can get enough documentation and paperwork to be a 16-year-old student in a high school. Like, you guys, you can't make this up. I want you guys to see this because this story was, when I say wild, I mean wow. All right. So here we go.
U.S. Department of Immigration, you got some explaining to do. How does a 24-year-old Venezuelan immigrant end up with a social security card, birth certificate, all of the identification one would need to be a 16-year-old high school student? Well, that's a question for U.S. Immigration. Can you imagine how many other immigrant men were given the same opportunity? And apparently this 24-year-old man has a baby with a 16-year-old girl. And he left said 16-year-old girl to date another junior at the high school, in which said 16-year-old girl was upset and decided to tell his caregivers, the people that adopted this man, that he was lying about his identity. Therefore, the school looked into this to then find out said 16-year-old was actually a 24-year-old Venezuelan man. So to all you people who are rooting for the freedom of immigration, this is what you're rooting for.
And they know exactly what they're rooting for. Okay. So this young man, okay, this is for lack of a better term, this young illegal, all right, really enrolled himself with his guardian's help because he got adopted. All right. You got to have all of these paperwork. Like, you have to have paperwork to get these things done. I don't know how he got the paperwork, but he got the paperwork, which tells me that most of them have the paperwork. All right. So he got all of these things and got adopted and went to school. And then got outed by his baby mama, who he got pregnant, who is an underage girl, because he was messing with another underage girl. Like, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make it up. All right. But then if you try to, deport somebody like that, they'll be like, oh, well, you can't deport. You can't deport. He needs due process. How do we know that's actually his baby? That's what you would hear from the Democrats. All right. So you guys, we're going to move on from that. But let me know what you think about this down in the comments about the 24-year-old Venezuelan that apparently looks like a 16-year-old and enrolled in school. You can't make this stuff up. All right, you guys. So our next shot here, okay, in things you can't make up and other weird news is schools. We're back at it with the schools and sports. Here we go.
And I'm a parent of two District 203 students, one at Lincoln and one at Central. Today, I speak to you in support of transgendered students and transgendered student athletes. I am proud to live in a state that protects a student's right to participate in sports that align with their gender identity. I thank you for supporting and following this law. Other parties will tell you that they believe this is a disservice to our cisgendered students, and especially our female athletes. As the parent of two students in the district, and as a woman, I reject the notion that allowing transgendered athletes to participate in sports is detrimental to our students. Losing a race is disappointing. It is okay for our students to experience disappointment. We cannot protect our children from all the disappointments in life, but we can encourage them to develop resilience. This growth mindset will benefit them in numerous situations.
I don't know if you guys can hear it too loudly, but what she's over here advocating for, she's a mom with daughters going to this school, okay? And she is advocating for trans students to be in sports with her kids. Now, she has two cisgender, this is what they like to call them, cisgendered girls, okay? She has two girls, biological girls, real girls, okay? And she's advocating for boys to go against little girls. You can't make this stuff up. The parents are weird. That's why the children are weird. The government is weird. Everybody is weird, okay? All these people are always fringed. They're always the left. This is what you have. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about these two stories for our shots, because yeah, they were just weird. Like, how does a 24-year-old illegal immigrant get in a school to become a 16-year-old? And he got adopted. Like, that was the biggest part for me. He got adopted. And then let me know what you think about the parents out here looking like weirdos in this picture. You know, protect girls' sports, but they're talking about trans girls. Like, you can't make this stuff up. Like, you guys, you can't make this stuff up. But let me know what you guys think, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and get into some of our main topics, all right? So, who do we have first? No one is above the law. All right, so when I say it has been the month of the Democrats eating crow, it has been a month, because the Democrats constantly say nobody is above the law. Everybody must, follow the law, including Donald Trump, who was a sitting president at the time he was indicted, okay? So here's the thing. The Democrats have been breaking laws left and right, not just with the illegals, but with the antics that they've been doing, all right? From the New Jersey mayor and so on and so on. So I want to get into first, one of our favorite people over here at the Red Cup, Miss Tish, Big Tish, okay? LETICIA James. I want to get into her and her new revelations where she actually tells on herself. And when I tell you, I don't know who told her she should be talking like this. I don't know who told her, but it's evident that she's not listening to her lawyers. And she's supposed to have the same lawyer that Hunter Biden had, which is a damn good lawyer, because we know he should be under the jail because of that laptop. But I digress. Here is LETICIA James speaking the other day.
As you know, we filed a lawsuit against Donald Trump and his family. We secured $454 million judgment against him, which is on appeal. The case is on appeal. I have no idea when that case will be decided. This investigation into me is nothing more than retribution. It's baseless. It has to do with the fact that on a power of attorney, I mistakenly indicated that I was a state of Virginia, but prior to that, I had indicated to the mortgage broker that, in fact, in bold cap letters, that I am not a resident of Virginia and never will be.
Cap. I call Cap. She's lying. She said that she mistakenly, now remember, before she said that she didn't do this at all, but she just said she mistakenly put that she was going to live in that house. But before she said that, she put it in bold letters. This is not my house. Like, this is not my house. I'm just going to buy it, but it's like not my house. Come on, girl. Come on, Tish. Big Tish she's in big trouble, but I'm going to let her finish.
And in the mortgage application, I indicated that I would not live in Virginia and I was not a resident. They just took the power of attorney and they're using that as a basis for enforcement for their investigation, when in reality, the power of attorney was never used to determine my eligibility for a mortgage for my niece for a home in the state of Virginia. My niece who has children, and because I am a good aunt, I wanted her to have a home.
Okay. So she's saying that she got this house for her niece. All right. And there's nothing wrong with getting a house for your niece if you can afford it and your niece can't. That's totally fine. However, she definitely put that she was living there. Okay. And that house is probably still under her name and her niece just lives there. There's tons of families that do this. Okay. So we know that's what she more than likely did. I got the better credit. I got the money and you just live in it. You pay the mortgage, like you would pay rent. That's probably what her niece is doing. However, because she is who she is, you can't do little things like that. Okay? Because you live in New York. You don't live in Virginia. It's the same thing with Marilyn Mosby and her living in Maryland and then lying to to get this down in Florida because she said she wasn't working and she was experiencing hardship during COVID. Like, you are in the spotlight. Like, you can't lie like this. And she knew it. She knew it. So I'm interested to see what's going to be coming up because again, she has Hunter Biden's attorneys. And we all know Hunter Biden got off. So I am very interested to see how this goes. Now, moving on with nobody is above the law. Okay. We need to get into somebody, I guess, who thinks she is above the law. And that is Miss. I didn't touch nobody. I was just there. Everybody else was pushing and shoving. What was me? I was just yelling. I was just there to do my duty. Yes, the representative from New Jersey. This is her on MSNBC saying that this is lawfare. Okay, when it's a Democrat, everybody is lawfare. This is lawfare. They're just going after her because she's Black and because she's a Democrat. And she wants to protect illegal migrants. And it's all ICE's fault. And it's just Donald Trump. Here we go.
Well, I think, one, this is political intimidation from the Trump administration. I mean, me being charged is absurd, especially when I'm just there to do my job. The confusion and the chaos that you see was caused by ICE officials and Homeland Security. They created this unnecessary situation by arresting the mayor, which later they dropped the charges, as you can see, creating an unsafe environment for us as members of Congress, the mayor, and peaceful protesters that were outside of this facility. Once again, it was so unnecessary and it didn't have to be. Well, I think, one, this is political intimidation from the Trump administration. I mean,
so she's receiving political intimidation from the Trump administration. She said it was all ICE's fault. So I was just digging and I said, let me look up the video. Let me see if I can really see what actually happened. And lo and behold, the internet is a godsend because somebody slowed it down. So watch this slow down video and tell me what you guys see. So there she is in the red. There's her hand. There she goes to swing. Okay. And then there she goes again at the ICE officer. Does anybody see anything else other than her on the attack? Because there's nobody behind her pushing her, because this is her argument, because she had to go. I think it's called. I think she had the hearing, and she has to come back. She had a virtual hearing and she was released and everything. But she said there at the virtual hearing that there were ICE officers there pushing and shoving her. There's nobody there. So I'm trying to figure out what she's talking about. There's nobody there. This woman is absolutely nuts. Okay? There's nobody there. This officer with the hat and the mask, he's turned that way. The other officer is in front of her and then one on the side. I don't know what she's talking about. I absolutely don't know what she's talking about. And I went to look for the proof because I don't like to just, say, okay, just because I don't like you, you did it. I went to look for it. And somebody had to slow down. I said, oh, even better. And then there's different viewpoints. So I don't see how she gets out of this. I really don't. But again, nobody's above the law. And she seems to think she is. All right. She seems to think because she was a congressperson and they should have just let her in that she did nothing wrong and that ICE egged on the situation. She gonna F around and find out. She going to jail. All right. So from one ratchet to another, we have her peer. Her peer decided that she was going to defend her in her favorite place on the committee floor, doing absolutely nothing because she doesn't do any legislation. And that is Ratchet Crockett. Miss Jasmine Crockett is on the red cup docket because, as always, she just keeps talking. And we shall keep covering it because this goes to show you that the Democrats don't do anything. Absolutely nothing. Donald Trump passed in the House the big, beautiful bill, and Democrats had nothing to do with it. So if any wins come from it, it's not the Democrats. Here's Ratchet Crockett.
Have to go through this kind of political theater because, listen, we all know what it is. That's why they hired everybody from Fox News, because all they trying to do is put on for a show. This is not the Apprentice show. This is supposed to be about the American people. And I want us to start to refocus our attention on the American people and stop demonizing every daggone person that ends up in custody of ICE, because they are not necessarily demons just because ICE decided to round them up. So thank you for your testimony.
Can I answer that?
Have to go through this kind of political theater because, listen, we all know what it is. That's why they hired everybody from Fox News, because all they trying to do is put on for a show. This is not the Apprentice show. This is supposed to be about the American people. And I want us to start to refocus our attention on the American people and stop demonizing every daggone person that ends up in custody of ICE, because they are not necessarily demons just because ICE decided to round them up. So thank you for your testimony.
They definitely are. Okay. They're already in the country illegally, which means they're illegal. That's a crime. I know she doesn't think so, but it is a crime. It is a crime to come in another country illegally. Okay. We have the soft, like, you actually get a hearing here. You do this in any other country, you'd be lucky if you get out. Okay. So that's her peer. Okay. That's what her peer is saying. And again, Tish and the ratchet here are saying that the Democrats are experiencing lawfare. This is theater. This is political theater. Nothing is happening. Okay. So I wanted to kind of touch on it. And so I wanted to give my favorite person to kind of round all of this off for me, because nobody is above the law and nobody speaks it better than Scott Jennings. Here's Scott Jennings on CNN talking about this very case and even Big Tish's case. Okay, here we go.
Brown, I always know he has something to say.
So we're worried about people in one party and criminally investigating people in another party now?
No, that is not what I'm saying.
That's good to know.
These are enemies. These are people who have been very outspoken against Trump, regardless of political party affiliation.
To LAU, listen, there's evidence in all three cases. McIver, there's a video. If you went to a facility and put your hands on a federal agent, I mean, you might be in jail right now. Number two, or me too, a regular person. Number two, on Cuomo, pretty strong evidence.
There's also been multiple investigations on Cuomo, including by the IG.
Number three. On Tish James, I was under the impression that in the state of New York, if you mess up some paperwork, whatever, around some kind of a financial transaction, that was worthy of 34 felonies. And so I'm just saying, all these people have done things. I think they're worthy of investigation. I don't know what's going to happen to it, but they're not being targeted because they're Democrats. They're being targeted because there's lots of evidence.
Okay. He's cherry picking them because they are Democrats. All right.
So when it comes to Democrats, it's cherry picking. When it comes to Donald Trump moving some papers around, it's 34 felonies. And even when the person that is supposed to be harmed, which was the bank sends a letter and their attorney saying it's no harm, no foul. Nothing happened. Tish James still goes and does what? Rasputia still goes and does what? She goes and still pushes for these 34 felonies. So I have no problem with going ahead and, filing away with Tish James. Is it minor? Yeah. But she had no problem with it. People can say it's petty. I say it's what she did. It's exactly what she did. She laid the whole foundation. And then as far as MacGyver goes, she's out there acting just ghetto, ratchet, whatever you want to call it. Because there's absolutely no way that a person is a member of Congress and they're out there throwing bows. It's wild. It's wild. Like, even if you think a certain way about whatever's going on, like, I don't see anybody doing this. All right. And the people that have done it, they're not in Congress anymore. But when it's a Democrat, especially a 92%er, because you can't say nothing about the 92%. When it's them, they never get punished. But they're gonna learn today. All right. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about everybody who thinks they're above the law. But as Big Tish, aka Rasputia, said, nobody's above the law. So we're prosecuting everybody. And I do mean everybody. All right. Let's go ahead really quick before we get into our next topics. Let's go ahead and read the super chats. And thank you again to everybody that pulled up, everybody that pushed the like button, everybody that shared. Thank you so much. All right. To all my mods, thank you. Here we go. Here we go. Mr. Robinson, $50. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. She's weird. Yeah, she is. She wants to have her daughter suffer for her ideals. Yeah, you got to remember, some of these people in the, that support these communities, they do more than the people in the communities. All right. It's so many people in these communities that have already said they don't like trans people in biological girl sports. But the supporters are weirder than the actual people in the groups. All right. But anywho, her daughter is most likely going to be teased and ostracized by normal kids due to her mom being a weirdo. And her mom doesn't seem to care. Most of these Democrats don't care. The blue hair, the purple hair, the nose rings, the bull, like, they don't care. They're fine with being weirdos. So, I hope the daughter, disowns her or something. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right, we have Chavez. Thank you. The $2 super chat. There she is. Mika, Jasmine, Minaj. You stop calling it. I like Nicki Minaj. Why you do that? Thank you for the super chat. No, this woman is way worse. Okay. At least, with entertainment, you're putting on a front. And maybe you might be, but it's entertainment. What is Jasmine Crockett doing? Like, this is on my dime. I don't have to go see Nicki Minaj. I don't have to go see an entertainer, but I have to see Ratchet Crockett. And she's on my dime. Everybody's dime. And I didn't pick her. I think she was put there. I really do think she's a plant. Honestly and truly. I hope Shoulder wins. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. Chavis again with a $2 super chat. Her bust down. Oh, you know what? Her bust down weave is sponsored by Temu. She don't even have the bust down middle part. Okay, I just learned that. She doesn't have the bust down middle part. It's cocked to the side, I don't know, child. I gave up. And Temu, I don't even think she gets them from there. Okay. This woman, I can't take her. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Tijuana border jumper. She set the standard, let her fry in her own lard. And that's a fact. Everything that's happening right now to her, she set the standard. Let her fry. I agree. Thank you so much for the super chat, Tijuana Border Jumper. That's a wild name. All right. Mr. Robert said, thank you with the $20 super chat. I appreciate it. When you said your favorite person, no one speaks it like him. Yeah. Scott Jennings is everything. He says it so effortlessly. Like he understands what he's dealing with, right? So if I'm on here and I'm talking to you guys or I'm doing a video, like it's one thing. But sometimes when you get in front of liberals like that are that Trump deranged, you know, that have all that animosity against Trump, have bald-headed reasoning, like all of that, I'm telling you right now, it's hard to keep your composure. It's hard. But Scott does it really good. So, you know, I like him. More power to him. I started to stand up out of my seat. I held my head high and said, thank you. Then you said, Scott. I sat down and I'm like, yeah, he's cool too, whatever. A mess. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. A mess. Thank you so much, you guys, for these chats. I like Scott. Scott is the only reason that I actually watch CNN, that I look at the clips, anything. Okay. And I don't know if you guys know, but Abby Phillips has like the #1 show on CNN. And that's not hard because CNN is trash. But she has the #1 show. And they're calling her the queen of nightly TV. I'm like, if y'all don't give Scott Jennings that Emmy, because that's all who everybody watches for. But they're going to say it's Abby, and they're going to say, yeah, see, people do watch left-wing media. Okay. But it's on them. I don't like Abby. I don't like any of them really on there. I watch for Scott. That's it. All right. So you guys get down in the chat again and let me know what you think about all the people on the above. No one's above the law. All right. So let's move into something that I thought was really interesting. Republicans are fighting for Tory Lanez. This was really interesting. I did not know this. Okay. And when I looked at this, I just thought, are Republicans the only people fighting for Americans, and especially Black people, especially Black men? It seems that way. Because I can't remember a time lately, especially, where Democrats are fighting for Americans, white, Black, green, anybody. They're not fighting for Americans. And they're definitely not fighting for Black Americans. And they're definitely not fighting for Black men. Okay. The 92% don't like them. So when I saw this, I said, I thought this was interesting. And then I saw that it was a Republican from California, Miss Ana Paulina, okay? And she was on Chris Cuomo's show. I want you guys to go ahead and see this and let me know what you think about what she's talking about here with Tory Lanez, about Tory Lanez with Chris Cuomo. Here we go.
2022, singer, rapper Tory Lanez, convicted of shooting performer Megan Thee Stallion after a party at the Hollywood Hills home of Kylie Jenner. Here's the story. They're at the party. After the party, they get into an argument. Lanez tells Megan Thee Stallion, dance, and shoots at her feet like a cowboy movie, hits her. Proof? Testimony of Megan Thee Stallion, her friend Kelsey Harris, and DNA evidence on the weapon that convinced jurors to convict. Pretty simple, right? Maybe not. Turns out that DNA, only a 0.01% chance that the DNA is from Lanez. He's always maintained his innocence. He was sentenced to 10 years. So this is really about the testimony. Lanez, so what happens? So he goes away, recently stabbed 14 times in prison. Many say it was a hit, okay? Because new evidence is about to come out. All right, a little conspiratorial, but he was definitely stabbed. Lanez supporters believe that the media doesn't care because Megan Thee Stallion is represented by Jay-Z's Rock Nation. Now, I could give a damn about Jay-Z or his company. This just wasn't a case on my radar until now. Why? Anna Paulina Luna. She is a representative from Florida. You see her here on a regular basis. She says she's got new evidence, says it wasn't him. And she joins us now. Representative APL, it's good to have you.
Thanks, Chris. Happy to be back on. And thanks for taking a look at this case.
No, listen, you tell me to take a look at it, I'll look at it. But why did you look at it? I mean, this isn't your jurisdiction. I don't know you to have any connection to any of these people.
Yeah, so as you know, we are on oversight and accountability. And so this case was actually initially flagged for me by Amber Rose. And the reason why I took particular interest in it is because of the fact that they actually had evidence that they presented to me in my office that actually disproved the conviction. So as you stated earlier, that 0.01% of DNA, they actually found 4 people's DNA on that firearm, none of which was TORY's. Not to mention there was 0 fingerprints on the actual magazine. And also too, as you said, 0.01% chance. I mean, that evidence in itself should pretty much speak for itself. Also, there's been ring footage that's been obtained that actually disproves the whole dance, Megan. And so what we're seeing is really there was a case of he said, she said. The evidence wasn't actually respected and properly adhered to actually in the trial. And then they also were doing something that I would find pretty wild and egregious. They're actually submitting his lyrics for rap as evidence to the crime. So look, first and foremost, you have to have a free and fair society. That means we need to respect and uphold the justice system. So I actually reached out today to Gavin Newsom's office, and we are requesting an emergency meeting. We're also working with other Democrats, specifically to the California delegation. But I think that this is something that's pretty egregious, that the way that this was handled, the way that it was. I think that it was largely driven by headlines. And aside from the people involved and the parties involved, obviously I take domestic violence, I take this very seriously, Chris, but I also take very seriously the fact that I do believe, based on the evidence that I've seen, that Tory's innocent. And I think that it sets a really bad message when you have someone of his stature, and also to someone that is as influential as he is, it's being wrongfully incarcerated. And that's exactly why we wanted to use our megaphone for a good reason and help get him his pardon, which I think he'll.
So this woman here is going to get, or trying to get, Tory Lanez a pardon. You can't make this stuff up, okay? All of this, vitriol we're talking about, that, the Republicans and Donald Trump, they don't like black people. They don't like people of color. They just don't like anybody but white Christians, okay, or white nationalists. But every time you turn around, it's Republicans that are going to bat for American people of color, for people of color that are just wronged, and preferably black people, black men, okay? And then you have black women who have been, wronged, and who are just so instrumental in a lot of things in the conservative movement, where the liberal media won't give them any shine. But yet the Republicans have. So I thought this story was really interesting because this woman actually looked at the evidence. Okay. And I also thought it was, it could be just me. But as much as they like to say, certain things can't be deleted, Amber Rose brought this case. Okay. Amber Rose, people have been questioning her going conservative, but Amber Rose is in there like swimwear. Okay. And she brought this case. And I think that's very commendable. I haven't heard one thing on the left about it. Not one thing. So when I went to go do the research, that's what I found out. So, I'm telling you, it's a new day. It's definitely a new day. Most people, if not all people who are logical, they're definitely moving conservative. If they're Latino, if they're black, pretty much anybody of color. Okay, because I see Indians, Asians, whatever. I see them all moving to the right. I see nobody moving to the left, except the weirdos. All right, so you guys let me know what you think about that. Now, I want to move into Piers Morgan because I saw Piers Morgan talking to none other than Representative Anna Paulina, the lady that you just saw, and Sunstar, Tory's father. Here we go.
And Megan is a young woman. I'm a father. I don't have any animosity to this girl at all. We pray for her. I've said that publicly on several occasions. My son included in our prayers. We have prayed for her on many occasions. So anything that I have to say is not to put her down, make her look like this person or that person. But the reality is that in all of this, how can you have a situation where in pretrial, the police, LAPD, says that the bullet fragments they had collected from the hospital just mysteriously vanishes. It goes missing. I would think that evidence is something that is protected in any police department, but they just mysteriously go missing. So there's no bullet fragments to be presented at trial. You have a situation where a gun is shot, and the gun, which is supposed to be your main piece of evidence, does not even show up at court, but some picture of a weapon that resembles or is the type of weapon they say that was used. The weapon does not show up at court. There is absolutely no, we hear this point of 0.1% of his DNA on the gun. Do you know what that actually means when you investigate it? That over 1.5 billion Black people on the planet could have been their DNA. Yet my son is convicted for having used this gun, where an expert witness from the LAPD gets in there and he testifies as an expert of how many pounds of pressure it takes to shoot this gun and to shoot it 1, 2, 3 times and on and on and on. Yet the only evidence you have could fit the profile of 1.5 billion Black people on planet Earth.
And there you have it. And here's the thing about it. I told you guys last time when I was doing an update that Tory Lanez is 1 inch taller than me, okay? I'm 4'10", he's like 4'11". They said that he got up on the bar of those, big Escalade, Denali things, whatever. He got up and he put his little arm over the door and stood up over the door and shot at her foot and said, dance. Do you know how hard that is for short people? Like, I'm so serious. Do you guys know how hard that is? Yes, Mr. Robinson, yes, I'm saying Megan is a liar. Yep. Azrael, yep. Dirty. Yep, Molly, lies. War Peace, agreed. Okay. I'm laughing at y'all in the chat because it's funny. But you guys are right. I got you. I'm just messing with you. All right. So you guys, let me know what you think about that. All right. And let me know what you think about Amber Rose getting involved. Yeah. He's 4'11". You guys, do you not think, I'm telling you, he is 4'11". You remember that picture I showed you last time? That man is 4'11". But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you think about Amber Rose actually showing up for it and presenting this case to Representative Paulina. And then let me know what you think about the mainstream media not picking this story up. Okay? You had Piers Morgan covering it. You had Cuomo covering it. But, the main news outlets didn't even touch the story. And that's because they don't want to go against the narrative. Because just like with Joe Biden, They were wrong. So you guys let me know what you think about it. All right, let's go ahead and jump into these super chats. Thank you, Miss Freckles, $2 super chat from South Passe. Spaces. Can you say Jasmine Crockpot? Yeah, I can put that in my my lexicon. Okay, we can use Ratchet Crockett, you know, wig, Jasmine Crockpot. We can use all that. All right. Thank you. Magnestar, thank you. Magnetar, sorry. $5 super chat. Thank you so much. Tell the chat who your favorite YouTube singer and government employee is. Magnestar. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. Not government employee, child. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Chavis. Okay. I'll stop calling her Jasmine Minaj. Will Jazz Tamo? We'll come up with something. But you can call her what you like. I'm just messing with y'all. But yeah, we'll come up with something. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. All right. We have Mr. Robinson. I told you Paulina was going to tame Megan the male horse. She is going to put her in the stable. And I hope she does. Okay. Megan the mule needs to, when I tell you she needs to be under the jail, she needs to be under the jail. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, Mr. Robinson. Y'all are funny in the chat. I like messing with y'all. Okay. Spaces. Okay. Because he got on me about his name. It is Spaces. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat. TORY did a freestyle. When he was sitting in a chair, he stood up, and when he was finished, he was the same height. The man is too short to shoot her. Yes, the man is too short to be dating her. Okay, that woman is big, and I do mean big. Like she's very tall. But yeah, he's very small, you guys. Like he's my height, literally. So if you guys ever seen a picture of me standing up or have seen me in person, you know that I am very short. And without heels, I'm probably even shorter. I just use 4'10". I could be 4'9". Who knows? But you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about the whole Tory Lanez, being represented and getting seen by the Republican Party. Who would have thought? Like, who would have thought? I'm totally shocked. And I'm definitely shocked at Amber Rose. All right. So you guys, let's go ahead and move on from here because now I want to talk about our main point. South Africa. All right. Now, I could have did a video yesterday, but like I told you guys, I really wanted to just like really deep dive and get into everything yesterday. From what I was seeing at the White House to everything that was just going on with he said, she said, well, there's no white genocide, there's white genocide. Like, I don't know. Right. So I wanted to dig further and I did. And a lot of the stuff that I saw was awful. A lot of the things that I saw, you guys, was just murder and mayhem. And it was so bad. It was so bad. So a lot of the stuff I cannot show on YouTube, but some of the things that I did find, I think will be fine on YouTube. But I just wanted to show you all sides because the mainstream media, of course, they all have TDS, they're Trump deranged, bald-headed reasoning, all that good stuff, right? They're not going to actually go ahead and show you all sides, right? Like they're supposed to do, even if they have a side that they've chosen. So I'm going to start with what everybody knows started a media frenzy, and that is Donald Trump ambushing. This is what they're calling it, the ambush of the year. Donald Trump ambushing the South African president when he told his staff to turn down the lights. All right, you guys, here we go.
Turn the lights down. Turn the lights down, and just put this on. It's right behind you. Johan.
There's nothing this parliament can do. With or without you, people are going to occupy land. We require no permission from you, from the president, from no one. We don't care. We can do whatever you want to do. Who are you to tell us whether we can occupy land or not? We are going to occupy land. South Africa occupy land. That's who we are. So whatever you want to do, can we drop our membership from this useless parliament? Yes, honorable member. Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act. Shoot to kill. Gaza. Kill the poor, the farmer. Kill the poor, the farmer. The man of DJ is PE is a white man. So these people, when you want to hit them hard, go after a white man. They think a talent will pay you because you attack a white man. Not because Bashar and Suri will not be touched. They will be touched. Come on. But we're starting with this whiteness. We're cutting the throat of whiteness. In Ghana. Shoot, kill, woman star. Kill the blue one.
And I went, you guys, and I watched these videos myself, like the separate videos that he's playing. I went to go watch these videos myself because I really wanted to see and hear what he was talking about. Okay. And it's just hilarious because he had to sit through all of that. All right. Now, I don't think it's an ambush, but he had to sit through all of that. And I will say this. I thought it was, commendable that Donald Trump, regardless of how you feel about him, whatever he says when you're not there, he says to your face. All right. And he's been saying this whole thing about the white farmers and everything that's been going on with them. Right. And these videos. So why not bring it up when he's there? Perfect timing. Right. So that's what went on with that. Right. And I'm sure you guys seen some of that yesterday because it was like everywhere. Now, the mainstream media's narrative is that in Africa, the white farmers are, of course, not having a genocide, but that the white farmers that are, being told that they have to leave their land are being compensated for it. So I want you guys to see what the president said a while back about taking back their land, not compensating anybody for it because it's their ancestors' land. All right. I want you guys to see this. Here we go.
The question of land. The land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation. And it must happen now. The question of land. The land of our forefathers and our foremothers must return to our people without any fail and without any payment of compensation.
So here's the thing. The mainstream media, as I always say, can go and do this. They can go and look for older videos. They can go and look for videos that, might not pop up in your algorithm. They can go do this. Okay? Because this man, before he was elected, was pushing for the same thing that he said during his visit with Donald Trump that, oh, we don't, associate with these people that are singing those songs and things like that. Now, I'm not here to advocate either way, okay? Because I'm an American. I'm America first, period. However, I do say that I never condone killing. I don't care if it's black or white. All right. So I do think, one, Donald Trump is, trying to keep that at bay because we don't need any more wars that we have to fund and we have to help with. And two, I think, the South African president knew that if he didn't get a handle on this crime stuff, that Donald Trump and the United States were not going to open up trade deals with him. Because Donald Trump has stopped trade. So you got to come to the table, just like Donald Trump has been saying. And by far, Donald Trump wants to address something. Well, my trade is going to make you come to the table. So Donald Trump knew what he was doing. And on top of that, his buddy old pal is Elon Musk. Okay. So that's also somebody that actually brought it to his attention as well. So, that is what it is. But this is just what this president has said in the past. So I wanted to dig a little more, and I wanted to find out, okay, the gentleman that's in those videos, what was he really saying outside of those songs, right? And is this just, a fringe group as the mainstream media is trying to make it seem like? Well, he's saying that this is what he believes, and that you all on Twitter are just whining and boo-hooing and crying, and it is what it is. Essentially, that's what he said. I want you guys to see what Julius Malema, I believe it's pronounced Malema, is saying. All right, here we go.
Must never be scared to kill. A revolution demands that at some point there must be killing, because the killing is part of a revolutionary act.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we've not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies. Cry babies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now.
I can't give you a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now.
We are not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now. That means at some future date, we may call for the slaughter of white people. Is that correct?
Let's deal with that at that future date. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you're saying you are not ruling out that in the future, you may very well call for the slaughter of white people?
It may not be me.
Could it be you?
It could be me, yes, but it may not be me.
Yeah, so it could be you. You could, at some future date, call for the slaughter of white people.
Shoot to kill. Hamaza. Kill the poor. The farmer. Kill the poor. The farmer.
So that's how you got up to that video. Because I wanted to actually go and look up what the context of that video was. So that's the context there. He definitely came full circle. Okay? He came full circle and had no problem with expressing what he felt about it. All right? And this is what the mainstream media doesn't want to talk about. There may not be millions of or thousands of white Africans, Afrikanas, whatever they want to call them, that may classify as a genocide. However, from what I found, there's a lot of violence in South Africa that is affecting white farmers, and that is affecting even Black people, even much so, because there's so many Black people, of course, in Africa. All right, where they're just doing they have a problem with crime. And I'm telling you, it's bad. I watched so many videos yesterday on crime in South Africa. Okay. To the point where I wanted to find out from the top cop of South Africa, what is the actual problem with South Africa? So I searched and searched until I found him. Okay. The top person says this is the problem with South Africa. All right. And he's, I guess what you would equate that to maybe like an attorney general or something like that. All right. But this is what this gentleman here is saying. The top law enforcer.
It's not me talking, these are the stats. We have a problem with the black man in South Africa. We have a serious problem. What we see here, we put the colors, the races of perpetrators that we've arrested. All the green, as you can see, almost everything is green here, which means almost everything is black that is committing crime. Out of total of 60,000 cases, criminals that were arrested between the age of 16 and 25 years old, 16 and 25 years old, we arrested 60,000 criminals in this past financial year.
Thank you, loud and
in
clear.
this period of 5 years, I beg your pardon, not in financial year, this 5-year period that you are counting. Out of this number, 57,691 of them were black men. Out of 60,000, 57,000 of them are black men that we've arrested. It's not me talking, these are the stats.
So he's saying that's not him talking. Those are the stats. And he's telling the truth. Okay? South Africa has a problem. They have a problem with black men, essentially, in South Africa, committing so many of the crimes. All right? You have a corrupt government, you know, he's talking about. You have a lot of things going on in South Africa. All right? On top of whatever may have gone on in apartheid, after apartheid, people who are anti-apartheid, like all of these things are coming to a head. And so now you have it leaking over into the United States. And so I'm here to just say that as an American, I just want it to be done. I want whatever can happen, whatever can be done to be done. That way we don't get tons of refugees. That way we don't have to, you know, worry about who we have to vet, what we have to do. All right. And I don't like, you know, I don't like to hear about, you know, women and children, you know, dying, people unaliving them for any type of reason, for anything. Okay. Whether white, black, whatever. So all of these things need to be addressed. And by Donald Trump cutting off that trade deal, he had to come address these things with essentially the most powerful man in the world, the president of the United States. So I think it's a good thing. I didn't think it was an ambush. I think it forced him to actually look at what's going on. Okay, if you say I'm wrong, then what's actually going on? And then how do you fix it? Because everybody seems to be so focused on whether it's a genocide or not. Because the media just, oh, is it a genocide? Is it not a genocide? It's a genocide. It's not a genocide. Oh, it's only a little bit of white people. You guys don't even talk about the black people that die. And now you're focused on the little bit of white people. Like it's crazy. It's wild because they do the same thing here in the United States. They don't focus on black crime, and they definitely don't focus on the white crime unless it's, you know, a kid. I'm not even gonna go there. You guys, let me know what you think about that. So last but not least, well, next to last, I wanted you to see what our favorites over there with Abby and CNN had to say about the white African refugees coming here after the Democrats allowed, you know, everybody and their mama to come here and have babies and anchor themselves here and, you know, come here with their gangs. And CNN just, it never ceased to amaze me. But here is CNN speaking on this very thing. Here we go.
Okay. So if you think about the history of South Africa, it being under an apartheid system, where I think it is 80% of the population that are Black Africans only own 4% of the land. That is because they were put in shanty towns and moved into areas where they had no rights. And so 30 plus years ago, they went through a the apartheid system ended, and they reformed their constitution under the great leader of Nelson Mandela. And that allowed for a racial reconciliation, one that this country has yet to do. But South Africa did it, and they reformed their constitution. And part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen, which are the white Africans. And so who are not originally from Africa, who colonized South Africa also. And so that is what they are saying is discrimination. Now, if the Constitution in South Africa is discriminatory, they have their checks and balances in that land, just like we do. And that is for them to, so if the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No, they can
These
leave
refugees
and
are
go,
coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you
or
against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland.
Are you
yes.
against them coming here?
I'm against the hypocrisy of this administration.
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you against them coming here?
If there was actually a genocide happening, like there is in other places in Sudan, in the Congo, I'm not opposed for Congolese and for the Sudanese to come to Africa, just like I'm not opposed to Venezuelans and South Americans coming to America if they are fleeing and looking for asylum. What I am
just
against,
these 50
again,
people you're
what
against.
I am against, it's not about being against them. What I am against is that they are being given special treatment when there is not a genocide happening in South Africa, and they just don't like the law of the land.
Well,
so you know what they tell people?
She said a mouthful, okay? Because we know Miss Ashley there, she definitely has bullheaded reasoning. And I'm gonna tell you right now, she definitely doesn't like the law of the land. She doesn't like that we won't, kowtow to having illegal immigrants everywhere and pay for them at that. So this was surprising to me, but not surprising because this is exactly how the mainstream media always acts. Okay. But I just thought her choice of words, they can go back home. They can, if they don't like this, they don't like that. They don't even like when people in the United States use those words. Okay. And trust me, I'm not trying to have a whole bunch of refugees here either. However, we've let refugees in from Sudan, from Somalia, from the Congo. Okay. And they're not even talking about what Donald Trump did with the Congo. They're not talking about that at all. Okay. He's doing things that he doesn't even have to do, but they're not talking about that. I've yet to hear CNN really talk about what Donald Trump is doing over there with the Congo. Okay. I don't hear it. I never do. And you know why? Because it's Black people, meaning it's Black on Black. So they will ignore it like everything else. Like if it's always that. We care about Black people, and then, it's Black on Black crime. We don't care if they're getting slaughtered. But Donald Trump went over there and actually did something. He's the only president that did. Everybody else didn't care. Okay? Venezuela is no political persecution here. So I don't even know what she's talking about. Okay? Their government is crap and, starving those poor people, but political persecution, nah. That's just where they rather have their people come from. Okay. We know they like to up the numbers. We know what they like to do. All of that good stuff. They like to keep fanning the flames of racial tensions. Okay. And it's so much going on in South Africa. And I do hope Donald Trump can keep us out of it. By him opening up those talks with South Africa and trade and things like that, maybe that will open up more economic, more economic advances, more, same thing that he did in the Middle East. Talk about more technologies, things that they can do with investment, to actually help those countries. Because here's the thing, when everybody I've noticed this. When everybody feels like they have something at the table, they're investing, their country is eating. I've noticed the wars tend to be less. When they feel slighted and one country has everything, here comes the BS. So I think Donald Trump understands we don't want war. I like the whole peace through strength stuff. I like that because I think that's what's needed. I really do. So yeah, this right here, I can't stand it because regardless of if these people are black or white, it shouldn't happen. And if we can help without one bankrupting us, because I don't want not a dime of our money that we're trying to keep for us to be going to wars and things like that. But if by having a certain diplomacy and opening certain channels, if that works, why not? So to call it an ambush is so annoying to me. Like, it's so annoying. What do you guys think about the whole South Africa thing? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad over there. It's bad. But I want to show this last thing here because to me, it doesn't get talked about enough. It's very short. And Donald Trump and the Republicans in general have bad PR when it comes to the things that they have done. They have great PR when it comes to talking negatively about the Republicans, especially negative about Donald Trump. But Donald Trump has bad PR on saying what he's done, especially when it comes to people of color, especially when it comes to black people. Now, I understand Donald Trump is not one of those people. He doesn't want to say, I did this, I did that. However, Donald Trump does a lot, has done a lot before being a president and after, and it never gets any shine. And I thought this next clip was great. All right. I want you guys to see this. Here we go.
Nelson Mandela and 80 of his constituents were trying to come to the United States.
Yeah.
The United States government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him. You chartered a 727 plane for their entire trip.
Yeah.
How is somebody, and that's crazy because you can talk about anything, and why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? It runs in your family. Your father helped build a synagogue. I mean, why do we not know those things?
It's something that I've never, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. I don't, we all like a certain level of praise, but I've never, I just like helping people. I help a lot of people and I enjoy doing it and I never talk about it. It's nice that you bring it up. I also think it's not a narrative that the press likes talking about, for me.
But I think it would help a lot of the American people who have been misled, I myself included. Now, listen, I'm voting for you now because of the man you are, not just because of the policies, because not every American will get the opportunity that I had to saw who you were backstage. And that's why I have this list. I mean, I have testimonials. We can't go through all of them because
I want to see them.
Now, this was.
I thought that was hilarious, you guys. When I tell you, I thought that was it was amazing to see. You know, like, I really thought that was just spot on. You guys, Donald Trump doesn't get the credit that he deserves for a lot of things. Like I said, I don't hear them talking about things that he has done for multiple communities before presidency and after. Okay. So for people to be on national media talking about, well, Donald Trump's a racist, Donald Trump doesn't like people in South Africa, when nobody would help Nelson Mandela when he got out of jail, Donald Trump did, and didn't say anything about it. Didn't tell one person. Didn't go to the media, didn't do any of that. And even with what they're saying right now, he still hasn't said, you know, I know Nelson Mandela. He's never said that. All day yesterday, I saw nothing but, well, Donald Trump wouldn't have did that if it was Nelson Mandela, because Nelson Mandela and his team would have got him together. When? While he was on that 727? When? When Donald Trump flew him home? Like, Come on. Like, come on. It's just the fanning of the racial tensions. I really do think the media, the Democrats, all of them want a race war. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. They don't care where they get it from, whether it starts inside the United States or if it's spilling over from something in South Africa or wherever. Okay. They don't want us to make peace with anybody. You can't go to Qatar. They're like, oh, well, he's getting a plane. Okay, we got a statue, we got a monument, and probably some other things from countries. This is what countries do. But when Donald Trump gets it, oh, it's bribery. The South African president even bought something. And they say, well, he knows he has to bring something to bring to the king because he needs offerings. I'm just like, I've never seen the media against their own interests, meaning their own people in the country. They will put up anybody, murderers, as we see, calling them Maryland dads, traffickers. All right. They didn't want the Venezuelan plane to leave. They had to go all the way to the Supreme Court so we can get rid of, child arrest, people who unalive women, old ladies. It's just, it's wild, you guys. Like, it's so wild. And I don't understand it. But I really thought that should be the last video because it sums everything up. Donald Trump was trying to just get down to the answers. And he's just blunt and upfront, whether he's wrong or right. And that's what I can respect. And the South African president had his opportunity right then and there to say what any of that was. Okay. I think there's a lot of stuff going on and I think he has a lot to clean up and hopefully he does because I do not want America dragged into this. No way, no how. Okay. So those are my thoughts. So you guys get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about, all of the nonsense with South Africa, because it seems to be a lot of nonsense. And I do mean a lot. And I wish I could show you guys the other stuff I found because it's disturbing. But, I think that is enough for YouTube to sum up that there's other things going on. All right. That their own government is speaking out about it or their own, top cops are speaking out about it. And then the opposition are saying what they're saying. Okay. But you guys let me know your thoughts. Get down in the comments, okay? Let me go ahead and read the super chats. And thank you guys for being so active in the chat. I was looking at it the whole time because I can see the video here and there, but I can see your chats over here. And they have a new feature with StreamYard, you guys, where I'll be able to put it up on the screen. So I'll be able to interact even more. I don't have to actually go over here and look. I can actually see you on the screen. So I'll have that next time I go live. But thank you guys for super chatting. Thank you guys for chatting. Just thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, let's see where we're at. I did that one. I did that one. I did that one. Okay. All right. Here we go. Chavez, thank you. $5 super chat. Dang, Tori and Mika's. So what? We're short. Okay. But Tori is a dude, so it matters more with him. I'm just little. But thank you for the $5 super chat. So short that they see walk on a cute. You know what? Thank you, Chavez. Thank you so much for the super chat. Mr. Robinson with the $5 super chat. Mika, you and Tori are the same height. Yes, we are. He could look you straight in the eyes and tell you, I didn't shoot that horse. I love animals. You know what? I'm going to put you over there with Chavez. Thank you for the super chat. Oh my God. No, super sticker, $5. Thank you, Ian. I appreciate it so much. Thank you so much. Oh, Lord. All right. This is a $10 super chat. Thank you so much in Canadian money. All right. And that is, y'all know I don't have my glasses. The harbinger of light. I wish Canada had a strong leader like Donald Trump. That guy I thought was going to win until he started being Trump deranged. And I don't know why he switched. He seemed to be good. However, Poland is, they're trying to go the whole Donald Trump route. I see. But yeah, I wish we had a strong leader like Donald Trump. We have garbage running our country. Yeah. Yeah. The people got emotional, I think, and they're going to pay for it. And I feel so bad for the conservatives that are over there, or even the people that are in the middle, because that guy is not going to do anything that, pretty much differs from Trudeau. Okay. But I like the people from Canada. So thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. I like people from Canada, but them hardcore liberals, child. Thank you so much, Mr. Robinson. $100 super chat. Thank you. I definitely appreciate you guys. I really do. Thank you so much for this super chat. Doing things out the kindness of your heart is so refreshing. Yeah, it's very refreshing to hear. You know what? Here you go. I just want to see you win. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yes, doing things out the kindness of your heart is great. And you shouldn't have to say what you're doing, right? And I appreciate that about Donald Trump. But I just think Donald Trump should be able to say, yeah, I did that. That was me. But thank you so much. I really do appreciate this super chat. You guys, I appreciate all super chats. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Robinson. AWOL, $5 super chat. Thank you. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work. I definitely will. I am getting more comfortable every day with being live. Thank you so much, AWOL. Chavez, $5 super chat. Just imagine Tory Lanez, Bruno Mars, Music Soul Child, and Mika singing We Are the Lollipop Guild from the Wizard of Oz. Y'all got jokes today. Okay. I can save these. I can find out who you are. Thank you, Travis. I don't know if y'all seen that episode of Martin when he was like, I don't represent no damn Lollipop Guild. Yeah, I don't represent that. I'm just short. Thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate every last one. I really, really, really do. Thank you guys for pulling up. Thank you guys for spending this time with me. I tried to keep it at an hour. What did I make it at? Like 1:15, hour and 15? Yeah. So I tried. But again, thank you guys for pulling up. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing, because I'm noticing my shares are up for these live streams. So thank you so much for sharing the live streams. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for the super chats. Thank you so much for talking in the comment section, because I'm gonna talk back. Y'all be writing dissertations and knowing I'm gonna read them because I'll be up. But thank you for being so engaged. I appreciate everything. Again, announcement is I have more merch coming, so I can't wait to, debut them. But again, you guys, thank you. I appreciate it. It's your girl Mika, and I'm out. Peace.